Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Creative Podcast. It's been a while since we talked, so I cannot wait for you guys to get reconnected with the show. And this episode is going to be a really interesting one, so let's dive right into it. It's been a hot minute since the last time we uploaded an episode. I don't even remember when the exact time was. It's been months. And there's some really good reasons to that. If you've been following Instagram, you probably know why. But yeah, so the show ended several months ago because there was so much going on for each of us. It was hard for us to get connected consistently, to get together consistently, and continue uploading new episodes, recording, uploading, and all that stuff. So we decided, hey, we're gonna shelve the Creative Podcast for now, and we might come back to in the future. It's the future, and some things have definitely changed for the show. So this episode, what I'm going to be talking about is, first off, what has happened since the show left off. Since episode 4, you guys asked us what. That was the title of the episode. And then on top of that, I'm going to talk about what the future plans for the show are and what the goals for it are. To start, I'm going to be your only host for most episodes from here on out. Part of the reason for that is, again, still that conflicting schedules. Those are a huge issue. But also since then, Ben has moved to Kentucky. And if you didn't know, we live in Indiana. Chen and I do. So that poses a problem of itself. Obviously, we can do online, like calls and whatnot. It's just not the same. And again, it still boils down to the scheduling issue in school year. Even in the summertime, people are all doing stuff. So because of that, it's going to be most of the time just me. From time to time, especially when Ben visits, we're going to try and get together and do episodes together again. But for the most part, it will be me. Before I tell you the plans for the show and what I'm thinking we'll be doing moving forward, I want to tell you what's happened since our last upload and since basically we went quiet on Instagram as well. After episode 4, we all were just like trying to scramble and get together and record another episode because, we wanted to keep releasing. But we knew that it would not be able to be consistent if we kept it up. Already, we were releasing sporadically. Like, we kind of had an idea of what day we wanted to release episodes on, but it could be anywhere from a week apart to a month and a half apart. They were just all over the place. It was so much fun creating these episodes with Chen and Ben, but we all decided that it was going to be so difficult to keep up a consistent schedule. So we opted to end the show, at least put it on hiatus, put it on the shelf, and talk about it later. Now, after that, maybe a month or so, maybe a little bit more than that, 2 months, Ben told us that he was going to be moving to Kentucky. And that was obviously a huge part of, why he didn't have time, because his family were going through the process of moving and what that looked like for them. So then we were like, okay, so are we ever going to revisit the Creative Podcast? And it was like, I don't know, probably not, but well, you never know. And recently, you know what? Wait, let me back up. I'm not going to go that far forward yet. So anyway, Ben and his family told that they were moving. So it was like, yeah, we're really putting this on the shelf for now. And after that, we just, continue to hang out. And we talked about our ambitions, I think on the podcast some, about wanting to start a band and make music together and everything. Obviously, that's not going to be happening as much either because, again, the distance issue. So, yeah, a lot of things kind of fell apart from that. And obviously, life happens. That's just, you kind of have to accept it. We just, from that point on, continued hanging out and doing whatever and, being friends, not having like, oh, we have to treat this like a business or treat this as like we're content creators now, because we never really were doing that. And even more so, we were just like, okay, we're just going to be friends and not have to worry about the show. And yeah, so there was a lot of loose ends that we left off on the show. We talked about all these revamps that we were going to do to the show, more guests we wanted to bring on. And a lot of that stuff, unfortunately, is going to be dropped because there's going to be a new format or lack thereof, sort of, I'll explain, to the show that will cause a lot of the old plans, a lot of the guests we wanted to have on, all of that to be fading into the past. The show is going to be very different from what it used to be. As much as I wish it could be like it used to be, it just can't. We don't have the ability to do that. After the show ended, and even near the time of before the show was ending, I was thinking about starting my own podcast to do alongside the creative podcast. And then, eventually it switched over. That's going to be the only show I do. And I started it, and it's been going pretty well. It's called Songsmith. It's about independent Christian songwriting and making music, different aspects of songwriting. And it's been really fun doing that. It's been obviously a very different kind of podcast because it's not conversational. It's not just like fun. I'm trying to educate people in a fun way about songwriting, about Christian songwriting, take them alongside me as I create my own stuff, and, all the things that go into that. I've just been trying to share as much as I can that I know, as well as hopefully bring on more guests that have more experience than me that can talk about, what they know in songwriting. So I started that, and that's been going well. We are, as of right now, 9 episodes in, although depending on when this episode comes out, it could be 10 episodes. This might come out the same day as the 10th episode of Songsmith. I'm not exactly sure yet. If not, it'll be around that time. So, yeah, 9, 10 episodes, plus a bonus episode that I split into 2 parts, which makes it, with the trailer, I've uploaded, that'll be 13, 10, 11, 12, 13 different episodes, content, whatever, to the podcast. It's available on all streaming platforms, YouTube, everything. I'll make sure to link that down below if you want to check it out, because it's been a lot of fun, and I'd love to have you guys join the songwriting community I'm trying to build through that. And then another thing we talked about, the 3 of us, Chen, Ben, and I, was the music side of things. And that was already a struggle. All of it really comes down to a conflicting schedule issue. We were having trouble getting together, meeting up, and doing things like that, trying to write songs, play music together. We never really got to write songs together, but play music together, work on the show. It was just too much for everybody to commit to. And so that kind of was the issue. And then Ben moved, so we can't meet together to play music as much. But that doesn't mean the music idea has died. Since then, Chen and I have been much more involved in the worship team at our church. He's been singing, and I've been doing guitar. I haven't done keyboard that much, just because guitar is my preferred instrument. And that has been a whole lot of fun. It's been a great opportunity to play with other people and just not be in my room by myself playing music. And then there's the side of songwriting. I don't know personally Ben if he's been doing a whole lot. I know that he did some stuff, but with his schedule of school, moving, all that made it a little bit hard for him to do more. But I've been trying to write songs more consistently. It's between every week, maybe week and a half, 2 weeks that I write a song, or at least work on a song. I'm trying to get that up. I'm trying to do better about committing to writing songs more consistently, not just whenever I feel like it, and push myself, not just to do it on the whim, because those can create some great things and have created some great songs, but also I want to get in the habit of just doing it, whether I feel like it or if it's a little bit more of a challenge. I have written some songs that I actually feel really, really proud of. Things like Through the Sea, which actually I forget if I finished the version that I have now, but I had a good chunk of it at least done before the creative podcast ended. So I've been sitting on that one for a while. But I've also written some things like Nothing Can about a month ago. That was a really interesting one. And I have a couple more pop-ish sounding songs in the works right now that I'm really excited about. So I've been, doing a lot more songwriting than I used to, which is something I'm really happy about. And obviously, I want to be doing since, the podcast I started after the creative podcast is about creating music. Now, I've been talking a lot about me, and I've not talked as much about Christian and Ben, or Chen and Ben. We call ourselves Chen, and he calls himself Chen. Yeah. We call him Chen because that's his nickname, but everybody calls him Chen, so it might as well be his name. And that's what we told you guys to call him. So anyway, but let me talk about what's been going on with them a little more than just crazy schedules and Ben moved. So for Chen, he's been living life, doing, being a teenager. He's not had anything crazy going on recently that I know of. We went to Cedar Point a couple months ago and late last year, and that was a lot of fun. But aside from that, there's not been a whole lot that I know of big that's happened for him. As for Ben, he's moved, and moreover, he is going to be going to Kentucky Mountain Bible College, which is where they moved. His mom got a position, basically what she calls the youth pastor of the college. It's a small Christian college in Kentucky, and she works there now. And Ben is going to be going there. His brother, older brother, Sam, was already going to college there, so he's just going to be joining him. Well, partly because he'd like to go to that college, but also it's really convenient since they live on the campus. So yeah, he's going to be going to college there next year. And so that's fun. And aside from that, again, I don't think there's anything. Moving is obviously a very big thing. I don't think there was anything else that I know of that's extremely notable that's been going on for him. I think he's been working on some of his world that he has. He's been world building for this post-apocalyptic type of world, which has been really cool to hear about from time to time and whatnot. But we've all just been kind of living life, doing school, working on things. I think my most notable thing has been Songsmith. That takes up a lot of my time now since I've been posting bi-weekly, every other week, and also trying to create social media content to help promote it and all that. I've been putting tons and tons of work into that show, so that's significant for me. So that's kind of all where we're at right now. What should you guys be expecting from the Creative Podcast moving forward is the next question. Obviously, I kind of already said this, but there's only going to be one host most of the time, being myself. And it's just easier that way. From time to time, whether that's online, video calling, or doing like some sort of live stream, we might try and get together, or we might be able to get together in person every once in a while. I've already talked to them about a couple different ideas we have, and they're totally excited about it, and we're hoping to get that out created in the next couple months. We'll see. And that's the next thing, release schedule and how often we're releasing. It's not going to be very frequent or predictable. And here's the reason. Like I said, Songsmith takes up a lot of my time. And with that, since I'm doing everything, I'm marketing it, I am creating the episodes, I'm editing it, I'm making the videos for it, and also hopefully going to be making some YouTube exclusive videos for the channel. That takes up a ton of time to create all that. On top of school, trying to write music myself, spend time with my friends and family. Just, also it takes a lot of screen time, so I don't want to just take more free time to sit in front of a computer because it takes a lot of time in front of a computer already. So the Creative Podcast is going to be, in a way, my outlet to just ramble, chill, and unplug. I'll have set topics for different episodes, but it's just going to be me talking about things I enjoy. Kind of like what we already were doing. A Story to Tell was us sitting around talking about our favorite stories, what made us like stories. Episode 2 was A Player's Guide to Minecraft. We talked about Minecraft and why we love the game so much. It was just us having a conversation and basically letting you in on it. That's what it's going to be. Except instead of us having a conversation, it'll be me talking to you guys about these things I enjoy. Sometimes I'll get some other stuff, like I'm thinking about possibly, as interesting as this might be, this might actually take a little more work, but talking about the whole TikTok ban, that might be an interesting episode. And not only the ban, but also the effects of social media on creativity. That would be a little more of an in-depth episode than just me talking about something I'm interested in. But I am interested in that, so I would be, really happy to put in some work for that. Get together a couple articles, a couple statistics, and just also talk about some of my opinions on it. The show is going to be me talking about things I enjoy. It's my way to create while being unplugged and not having any, deadlines I have to make. It's just having fun. One thing you can expect from the show now is better audio quality. I still have the microphone I used for us, but there's a couple things. One, I don't use that microphone anymore for podcasting. It is a condenser microphone. Condenser microphones are much, 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 much more sensitive. So I, for my birthday this year, got a dynamic microphone, the Audio-Technica ATRX 2100. I think that's what it's called. Yes. And also a pair of really good headphones for monitoring. So first off, obviously, every host on the show has their own microphone. being me, myself, and I, where we had issues like episode 1, I think we were all on the same microphone. Episode 2, we might have had 2 mics. I can't remember. Maybe that was all one mic. And then episode 3, we were going to have all separate mics. Or Andy and Barbie, I think, were going to share a microphone, and then we were going to share or have 2. No, they were each going to have a microphone, and the 3 of us were going to share one mic. But we had technical difficulties, and after 15 minutes, I gave up, and we used one mic for the interview. So that was also it caused more echo to hear more echo in the room, and just a little bit lesser quality. Since then, I've learned a lot about podcasting. Like I said, I'm several episodes into Songsmith, as well as, having some of the experience from previous episodes of the Creative Podcast. Taking all of that into consideration, I am able to edit the show better, a lot better than I did for the early episodes of the Creative Podcast. I take my time going through the whole thing and actually editing out the mistakes and everything. So yeah, the show will be much higher quality than it used to be. It won't have all the bloopers. There won't be as many bloopers as well, but it'll be more crisp and more well edited with, editing things because I've learned. So, the Creative Podcast, that is what it's going to be, what you can expect from it. And I will tell you this, I'll give you a couple sneak peeks into upcoming episode ideas we have. And they are just ideas. So there's no set in stone date as to when they're going to be recorded or how long these episodes will be or anything. Some of the ideas I have are, 1, doing a crossover episode between Songsmith and the Creative Podcast where Ben, Chen, and I talk about music, why we like music, and, conversation about music, kind of like we had a conversation about stories. Like I said, the TikTok ban could be an interesting episode and talking about how social media plays into and drains creativity specifically. Or another idea I had is, there's a friend of mine who really enjoys books, and I've not talked to her about this at all yet, but maybe having her on and just, talking about stories again, talking about books specifically. And yeah, she's wanted to start possibly her own podcast or her own YouTube channel. So this could be a great way for her to practice / see if that's something she would enjoy. So there's a couple ideas I have. There's other things I could think about. None of them are set in stone. They are just ideas, things I'd love to cover in the future. I can tell you the episodes are going to be significantly shorter. I can only talk so long by myself. My longest episode, I think, of Songsmith is 30 minutes maybe. And that was stretched out really far. So it's, I can only talk so long by myself, especially when I don't have a very specific topic or if I don't have, other people to talk to, aka being by myself. With that being said, I'm thinking probably 20-ish minute episodes, maybe a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, depending on the topic and just, my time, how much time I have to record. So that'll be kind of what you can expect for time and content and quality of the show. Now, I do want to call to your attention, something new with the Creative Podcast. If you're on Instagram and you followed the show, then you already probably know this. But if not, we have a YouTube channel now. And with said YouTube channel, we can, first off, upload the whole show to YouTube. As I have already done, the show is up to date on YouTube. And this episode that you're listening to, wherever you're listening to it, should be on YouTube on release day or within a couple days of release day. Starting the YouTube channel for the show was something that we had been working on / wanting to do before the show ended and went on hiatus. But we never got around to doing, obviously, because we never announced it or anything. Technically, the channel was quote-unquote set up, but there was nothing on it. There was no branding. It was literally just the channel existed with nothing on it. So over the last week and a half, I think it has been, or maybe only a week, I turned all of the audio things into videos. And the videos are really simple, nothing crazy. It's just the artwork that we made for each of the episodes. So Minecraft, it was that Minecraft picture, but I made it into a computer screen video format size, reformatted it or whatever, and then put the audio on it. So there's nothing moving or anything. It's literally just on YouTube where you can see it and listen to it. And because of that, it's also on YouTube Music because it's a playlist as a podcast or whatever. It's hard hard to explain. It's a podcast or a playlist labeled a podcast. And when it's labeled a podcast, then Amazon or YouTube Music puts it on YouTube Music. I think that made sense. It doesn't have to make sense anyway. It's on YouTube and YouTube Music now, so you can listen to there. I'm not really sure what all is going to be done with the YouTube side of the Creative Podcast, aside from uploading content. Like I said, we kind of want to do some live streams and just, us talking and maybe getting connected with anybody who wants to listen to us talk at the same time. And maybe like a way to not be a Q&A, but you guys be able to ask us questions as we're chatting and, just have a good time. Have a great old time. And who knows, maybe we'll upload those live streams as podcast episodes as well. There's just a lot of stuff that I want to do with this as a fun, chill, laid-back project. There's no expectations, no pressure, just having some fun with it. There's some people I'd love to talk to on the show, not necessarily as an interview, just be like, hey, you want to talk and make a podcast episode out of it on X, Y, or Z. It's just, being chill, having fun, all of the above. That's what the show is going to be. It is different, but yet still very similar. We're talking about things that are creative. I mean, everything you can think of can kind of be put under creativity in some way, shape, or form. So that's what it's going to be moving forward. It's going to be me sitting, talking, and, just having fun. Final thing is I want to talk about Songsmith one more time, just as like a bit more of a plug to my main show. Songsmith is a show about independent Christian artists and songwriting and how you can be that, how you can do that, the different skills it takes, and really the simplicity of it at its core of songwriting. I have episodes like episode 1, where to start, what do you need to get started? Episode 2, prayer and songwriting, how prayer can be an essential part of becoming a better songwriter and letting God into that music. Episode 3 is about how you can use emotion in songwriting in a way that is both God-honoring and fully expressive of how you feel. And so many more great episodes from skill versus gear. Which should you have more of? Hint, hint, it is skill, not gear. But I do talk about when it is time to buy gear, how you can save money and buy what you really need, not what everybody's telling you need. So much great content, many, many great episodes, 2 interviews, one which is a 2-part episode, all available for you to listen to with the link below this video. You can check it out. You can follow me on Instagram at SongSmithShow. And of course, follow the Creative Podcast. You can follow us or me, whatever you want to consider it now, at _creative_podcast show. That is one mouthful of a handle, I can tell you that much. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to this one-off episode. I'm not sure when the next episode will be releasing. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to do for the next episode. But I want to thank you for listening to this, however many people. I mean, we have 22 followers on Spotify, much more than I can say for Songsmith, and 142 listens, I think, across all episodes, which is insane. The amount of people that tuned in and just listened to our show is amazing. So I thank you guys for tuning into this latest episode, episode 5 of the Creative Podcast. I cannot wait to see where this goes, even if it is just a fun project that, I upload on from time to time. And now, I've been missing saying this. As always, stay creative.